Welcome. My name is Israel Dominguez. I am the Director of Economic and Workforce Development, and I want to thank you for being here. This is our inaugural event of Building Inspector Summit, and we hope to share some great information from our industry experts and our faculty about careers in construction and specifically building inspection. Just briefly, we'll start off with a quick welcome and also introduce our colleague from the city of Tustin who began this whole discussion on the need for building inspectors. And then we'll start our industry panel discussion at around 10:15, and then we'll open up to Q&A between 11 and 11:30. And then from 11:30 to 12:30, we'll do some networking and with the industry panel outside as well, and some of the representatives. And then we'll have lunch 12:30 to 1:30. We'll have an opportunity, if anybody's interested, in touring our newest building, the Math Science Computer Building, where we can showcase the building inspection that went on in that very same facility. Okay, so that's what to expect for this morning. I want to introduce Alexa from the city of Tustin to give a few words, and then I'll kick us off.
Probably makes sense for me to use this. And I did take the time to try this in AI and then fix it all, so I'm going to go with some notes here. Thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the professionals that are here in the office and giving up some of their time today, especially some of you that I may have really asked to come. I appreciate you. Thank you to the students that took time out of your day to come to something that's going to be an unknown reward for a couple of hours of your time. You don't know what you're going to get here, but I hope that you walk away with something good. And if you don't, I see a bunch of goodies out there for a practical solution to that problem. So take some pens and some notebooks and have a great lunch. But I do hope that you learn something here today and get what you came for. I am here today because I'm responsible for community development in the city of Tustin, which includes the building division. So anything that starts to go vertical, it's my responsibility to make sure that it's done safely and done in a very timely manner. Of the divisions within the community development department, the building division causes me the most stress. I hit the panic button on a regular basis because I do not have staff to execute what we need to get done. My peers are all in the same situation. We talk about it all the time, that we cannot get enough qualified staff, that our consultants cannot get enough qualified staff for us to borrow from because we do lean very heavily on our consultant partners, and that our staff, as we know it, particularly for building inspection, are retiring, and we do not have people coming up behind them. It puts us in a really awkward position where we're kind of almost stealing from each other at times when we need to recruit, or we have to leverage the relationships we have in other places. It's a true challenge, and we're looking around Orange County and we see transformation, particularly in some of our more urbanized cores, where we see wrap residential going up. We see 100-acre malls coming down and being rebuilt. All of these things are big changes for Orange County, and we need to be able to support that transition with qualified staff. So it begs the question, with all of this growth and change, why aren't we attracting more talent to this industry? I don't know. I talk to my peers, and we can speculate all day long that people are moving out of the county because it is very expensive to live here. We can talk about wages, and maybe there has been a history of low wages in this industry. Maybe crypto's faster. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I'm not that brave, but there are a lot of reasons that could contribute to why this workforce flow has stalled out for us. But I think in this forum, what we're suggesting is that while some of these things are entirely out of our control, the one thing we can do now is support the career path for people that are beginning in the industry, for people that are looking for a career change, for people that are looking to advance their skill set in some other way. So we are acknowledging the issue today and putting resources towards it. I have been in Tustin for about 8 months now. I have a fairly new economic development director that works underneath me, and he let me know one day, hey, I'm connecting with Saddleback College about some workforce development stuff. And my immediate thought was, we have to talk about the building inspector situation. So fast forward to me meeting this wonderful staff of Israel Dominguez. We got Jesse Chang out there from Economic and Workforce Development. And all I could say to them is, what can I do? What can I bring? How can we make this move forward? And the partnerships in this room are how we do that. So our private sector is here. It's developers, contractors, consultants. They offer jobs. They offer job training. I was just speaking to a woman outside from CAA who talks about how they bring staff in and pay for their certifications to move forward and advance in their firm. And I know that other firms do that as well. Industry associations are here, and we are asking you to lean on your membership to support the need here. And then finally, we have cities here who are hiring and who do have jobs. And I looked at Tustin's salary schedule. If you don't know, city salary schedules are all online. You can look and see exactly what every position makes. It's a range. There's a step 1 all the way to a step 6, just kind of depending on the city. So for step 1 in the cities around here, in building inspector, entry is $80,000 a year. And a senior building inspector at the top step is about $123,000 a year. These are good paying jobs. These are livable wages, even in Orange County. I do not know what the future holds, but I know that today, lack of inspectors is the biggest obstacle to our development and growth in Orange County. And we are under deep pressure from the state to develop residential in particular, and we stall out on these things. This is a workforce that we desperately need, and again, all the cities have the same story. Saddleback College, thank you so much for your partnership. This effort is critical. Thank you for putting on this event today, and I look forward to growing all the networks to continue to support this cause. So I'll turn this back over to Israel. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. All right, I want to go ahead and welcome our panel speakers to come on up, and we'll start off with introductions. So Scott, come on up. Blake. We want Transtech. Wherever you want. EES Consulting Group. Charles Abbott. And Raymond Group. So I'd like to start off with brief introductions. We'll start off on this end with Scott. Give us a little bit of an overview, who you represent, what you do, and a little bit about your organization.
Okay. My name's Scott Fazekas. I'm the owner of Scott Fazekas and Associates, Inc., go by SFA as a common acronym. And I can identify with the interest that we're seeing, and it's really too bad that more people don't even show up for this. I started in high school. I got a job as a clerk in a building department in Newport Beach, drove there every day after school from Foothill, and moved along, went through college, junior college, and then at Orange Coast and Cal Poly for architecture. Got jobs as an inspector along the way and worked while I was still in school, and then transitioned into plan review with Newport Beach still, and then ultimately moved to Costa Mesa. After a dozen years, I was hired on with a consulting firm that their name isn't still in business today. They were bought by another merger years and years after I was gone from the company. And so we've been in business as SFA for 30 years now, and our focus is more on the plan review end of things, but I work as a building official in a couple of cities right now, fill that role as well. So that's it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kent Zhang. I'm representing Charles Abbott Associate, CAA. You'll see a booth for us out there. We are a full-service building department, building and safety services. When we are also a consultant, and we are slightly different from other consultants. So when we go into a city with a contract with the city, we take over the entire department. So I am right now also a building official for City of Mission Viejo. We have contract with City of Mission Viejo. When you walk in, we blend in with the city staff. You cannot tell we are a consultant, but we are the admin to the city's staff itself. Right now, with City of Mission Viejo, we also have City of Laguna Hills, Aliso Viejo, RSM, and Laguna Niguel. And you will see us out there. If you're interested, come talk to our staff outside. I also have the building official for Aliso Viejo and the building official for RSM out there with me and the HR manager out there. And as far as my experience, I've been in the construction industry for about 30 years. And then I got tired of the inspectors not knowing what they're talking about. So I come to the other side of the counter, try to explain my knowledge and help other contractors in doing better. And I've been being official for about 10 years now. And I love this job. This is a job to share the knowledge and share the passion about the code. And a lot of contractors depend on the building department to keep them up to date with the code. And that's what we loved. And then also I keep telling people our job here is to protect the homeowners because homeowners are not the code professionals. Our job is to protect homeowners from the contractors and to apply everything the code requires. So that's what gets satisfaction every day that we go out in the field, help the homeowners, help the contractor along. We tell the contractors, we're not your enemy. We're here to help you build better and this extra set of eyes to help you move job forward faster and everything comply with the code. If you're interested, like Israel was saying that, and Alicia was saying that we offer trainings on the job and we take entry level as a permit tech and you can move up the rank, permit tech, inspectors, inspector 1, 2, and going up and being officials. So we got great training programs. If you're interested, come talk to me, come talk to my staff outside. Thank you.
Did I need a permit for that dishwasher I put in last weekend? Oh, I'm just kidding.
Yes, you do.
That's wrong.
It's a 30-year-old KitchenAid. I didn't put it in, so just joking. My name is Blake Stevens. I'm an architect, licensed now for 41 years. Been teaching here at Saddleback for 18 years. I'm the department chair of architecture, drafting technology, and construction inspection. We actually have an associate's degree in that. We are in process for an associate's degree in construction management, and we are also working on a baccalaureate, about 2 years out if it gets approved. So all sorts of good things going on. I'm kind of the other end of the house. I have been through plan checks in over 140 cities in California, Oregon, and Washington. I've designed a lot of buildings, and I appreciate the plan check process tremendously because I always think of that day when we have our big earthquake and our buildings stand up because they were designed correctly, inspected correctly. We don't turn into Turkey or other countries where they have the codes, but they don't inspect them, and there's all sorts of shenanigans with the construction. We have a vibrant building inspection, I would say, culture here, especially in California. Doesn't make it easy to get plan checks through. Palos Verdes Estates is my favorite city for not getting plan checks through quickly, but it's another subject. But I welcome all of you here today. I think maybe some of you have taken some of our classes over the years. We have two amazing professors teaching it. One is the retired building official of Westminster, Suresh Rabari, some of you know him, and the other is David Koram, who just retired from the city of Long Beach. So those are the professors and more that you will interface with if you decide to come to school here or send somebody here.
Awesome. Well, good morning. My name is Gregory Ahern. I work for Transtech Engineering. We're a multifaceted engineering company. We got the engineering aspect, all the public works, and the building section. I work for the building section. I'm a senior inspector for them. I'm also their training inspector. My career path, well, I have 39 years in the city of Glendale. I retired as a senior fire environmental safety specialist inspector. I've been at Transtech 7 years. Why do I work? I like working. The best thing we do is I work on the training with our inspectors all the time. The company has all these training programs. I bought personal training programs. If you come to work with our company, we're going to help you out and get you trained, work you up. And if you work in my group, in building, you're one of my inspectors, I call them my inspectors. The owner says they're theirs. But once you're being mentored by me, I follow up with you. I've had 15 to 20 inspectors in the last 7 years come under me. Even when they leave the city, I still talk to them about once or twice a month to see how they're doing and what they're doing, how they're advancing their careers. So it's just, we build buildings, we build career paths. That's what we do here at Transect, from the permit techs all the way up and through. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eric Westland. I'm a general superintendent for one of the largest framing and drywall contractors, lath and plaster, theming work for the state of California. We have offices all the way in San Diego, all the way up north to the Bay Area. What we specialize in is anything to do with anything, with any kind of wall. Everything you look at, these guys are either created it or wrote the code for it, and then I get it inspected, right? So I gotta meet up with everything that these guys are setting up for us to make happen, right? We're that final thing that has to happen to get it signed off to make it code compliant. One of the things I like to teach a lot of I deal with teaching a lot of the apprentices coming out of the union carpentry is the green fence, right? We've all seen them on a job site. And for the most part, the public doesn't even understand what it's there for. They just think it's there to hide it, right? And it does do that, sure. Nobody wants to see an unsightly job site, sure. But it's more there to keep a non-code compliant area of the city safe from the general public. That's its main purpose, right? So on a construction site, nothing there is code compliant till it's been signed off. It's an unsafe place to work. I tell this to a lot of the young kids that want to get into construction. It's an unsafe place. Everybody talks about how firemen and police officers have a dangerous job, and they do. But they typically don't make the top 10 every year. Construction workers do. So it's a dangerous job. You got to keep your head on a swivel, but it's an important job, because if this country isn't building, we're slipping behind. And it doesn't just mean in this area, just in general. If America isn't growing, we're sliding behind on the global market, if you will, right? So it's important to be part of the building process and what makes this country great. We do a really good job. He was talking about code and stuff like that in design. Safest buildings on the planet, right? And you're in one of them. These are built to a higher standard, right? Schools and hospitals are built to a higher standard, right? Your general malls are built to a lower standard, right? So within all those standards, even the lowest standards, still better than most countries, right? For the most part, in an earthquake, I am not even gonna bother running outside, because I know the building I'm standing in is a good one. I don't have to worry about it.
All right, I'm gonna get us going here.
Am I supposed to talk about how long I've been doing this? 35 years.
Yeah,
Been
okay,
doing this for
great,
35
thank you.
years.
I'm gonna get us going on some questions. I just want to ask that you keep your response 1 to 2 minutes, because we have a few questions to go through, okay? So the first question goes to all of you. We'll go down the row here. Can you briefly share your career journey and how you got into building inspection or construction?
Like I mentioned, I'll keep it brief. I started out in high school, walked in the door, and there was an opening as a clerk, file clerk. It's the best way, trust me, start any position you can get. The doors open up and they start to see your work effort and your work habits, and you'll go from there. So I started in high school at 16, and I've been at it now for over 50 years. So work hard, have a good work ethic, and even though it's usually not an interview question, character and integrity. What you'll do when no one's looking, when they see you work hard and you're doing your job and getting the things done, it's going to open the next door. It's a perfect way to start.
Thank you.
I started in construction when I was 18, not as young as Scott, and I was a general contractor. I got my general contractor license about 2 years into the business, and I worked in construction for about 30 years. And when I talked to the inspectors doing my job into inspections, he said that I have enough knowledge I should be doing inspections instead of just doing construction itself. And at a time, want to inspect, and then I decided, hey, I should share my knowledge, and I become to inspector and came to work as inspector with Charles Abbott Associate, and I've been building official for the last 10 years now. So in construction, give me basic ideas. Again, you keep learning, keep learning. Again, every time an inspector come to my job, give me a correction. I challenge, I look, I learn, I keep growing with the code. Great thing about this job is you never stop learning. As of today, we're still learning. We're still discussing about the code. You keep learning, keep growing. That's all.
Thank you.
Boy, I loved building forts when I was a kid. We built one in the rafters of the carriage house in our backyard, which was built in 1906 after the San Francisco earthquake over in the East Bay. And then when my parents moved us up to Mercer Island, Washington, when there was still a Boy Scout camp on the island, we built tree forts in every third tree on the island, I think. So I love that construction process as a kid. I think I lost 100 hammers of my dad's into the bushes, but it was great. Always wanted to be an architect, for real, from when I was 4 years old. Designed my first house when I was 14 that got built. It's still there up in Bellevue, Washington. I knocked on the door a couple of years ago when I was up for a high school reunion and said, "Hi, I'm your architect." I could see they were doing the math. So anyway, that was 53 years ago. So my path took me into architecture. I love spending rich people's money. I have done some big, expensive houses, mostly up in Beverly Hills and Bel Air and the beach cities, and have done a lot of projects in Orange County. I think I have hit every city in Orange County except for Garden Grove. Done a house or a building in each county or in each city over the years. So that's my path. And I'm passionate about teaching, training our students in all different directions, trying to push them into a job with a livable wage in Orange County. Our big success right now is students who get proficient in Revit. That's 2 classes for us, get about $45 an hour. That's $90,000 a year starting doing drafting in Revit. It's a very powerful, hard to learn software, but they're doing really well in that. And then beyond that, into licensing as contractors, building inspectors, architects, all those different kinds of areas. And David, welcome.
Thank you very
He's
much.
one of my professors. All right.
Sorry for running a little late, but yes, I'm David Khurram. I have an opportunity to be teaching at the college here for the last 10 years. I started in 2016 here, and every year I teach about 3 or 4 classes. So my subject is building and safety and building codes. Building code, electrical code. And I also teach basic drafting and plan reading type courses throughout several semesters in summer and fall and winter. In conjunction with me, there is another building official, a friend of mine that teaches plumbing and mechanical codes, Mr. Sarush Rahbari. We all been building officials throughout the California, Southern California, LA area. Him and I, we, with the help of Mr. Blake here, will support a large group of students that they go through a career, through our training programs. And I'm glad to mention that at least 10 of our students have taken positions with the building and safety departments in California, more than 10. There's a gentleman that's sitting outside that is now a building official, and he went through the curriculum and the classes that we held here. And I remember when he started with us, the position and job that he had, and where he is now, which is an outstanding growth for somebody who has an interest in this field. Very much like Blake, I'm very much into education, very excited about the opportunity that this college provides us. After 41 years, I retired last year, and I see some of you have been in my classes. I'm glad that you're sitting in this program. So, building and safety is an interesting career. Working with the construction in general is an interesting career. It's very rewarding, as you all know, because you see things getting built, things regulated, people live in it, hospitals take care of the kids. So this panel here that's sitting in front of you, I've got to know most of them throughout years here, and they're all very dedicated to this field. As Blake was saying, I want to accent that statement by saying that our field has changed drastically and is changing almost every day. With the advent of the Revit, AI, now these softwares all collaborating with each other. Little history on that topic, because some of you may be interested in that. When I went to school, we used to draft with pen and pencil and paper. I still teach the same course, but the course has changed because nobody uses a protractor, nobody uses a pen, nobody uses a straight edge, nobody even uses drafting table. Paper and printing is gone. When you submit to the building departments, everything is digitized. So it's up to us to also change the teaching methods and the new students that come out of these careers to obtain a job and to be able to land a job. Game is different than when I went to school or we went to school in 70s or 80s.
David, sorry to interrupt, but I want to go on with the other panelists because we got a lot of questions to go through.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate that nice big intro. Thank you. As I was asking the other two panelists, if you could just give me a brief, share a brief background on your career journey and how you got into the building inspection and or construction industry.
So I've been in construction for 47 years. College wasn't for me, folks. I was in junior college, probably the worst student you ever saw. I registered for class. I showed up once a week. So I went out and I said, I got to get myself a job. My buddy said, hey, you can work over here at the city of Glendale. They got this thing called seasonal labor, work on the back of a trash truck. Well, I didn't get that job, but I got on with them. I was dumping trash cans and cleaning toilets in parks. As jobs came up, I kept on applying. All right, almost 40 years later, I had 9 different positions in the city. Right, I crawled sewers 125 feet underground, being covered head to toe in sewage. I climbed power poles 60 feet in the air with just hooks on my feet. I was out in 100-degree weather and a 70-pound jackhammer. I was school of hard knocks guy. I went back to school when I was 30, had 3 kids, working 2 jobs, all the time I could get. Took me 10 years, got my social science degree in public works construction from Citrus College. All right, that's how then a job came up as an inspector, as industrial wastewater pretreatment inspector. People tested for it, master's degrees and stuff. I came in 3rd because I was working with the wastewater guy and I was studying how to deal with cyanide, hexavalent chromium, toxic organics. And those 2 guys didn't work out, and guess what? Boom, I got in the job. Later on, fire department wanted to consolidate hazmat, industrial wastewater pretreatment, fire and life safety together. We call it what's called a CUPA, Certified Unified Program Agency. I got drafted into the fire department. Everybody else begs to get in there. I was mandatory pushed in there. When I retired, I was a senior fire marshal, senior fire inspector, safety specialist. My last 5 years, I was doing 5,000 units of construction all by myself as a sole source inspector. I could walk on your job. If you had an underground storage tank you found, I could deal with all the soil remediation, everything with it. When we built the building, I did all the fire life safety on it and any environmental stuff and commissioned the building. I was the second set of eyes for the construction inspectors out there because they were overwhelmed with construction. Got a lot of safety issues with fire-rated walls and construction and helped them out with that. I went to retire, and my brother said, why don't you become a building inspector? Went out, got my building inspector cert, went to work for a company called HR Green out in Orange County, worked with Miss Julie back there in the corner, and then I got phased out. I was sitting at home, she called me up, hey, you want to work? Yeah, put my application in, now I'm with Transit Engineers. 7 years later, I'm their training inspector, and I love what I do every day. In fact, right now, I'm the inspector of record for the new Dodger minor league stadium in Ontario. We just commissioned that building out there. I'm doing 220 acres of construction all by myself out there. And so if you love working with people and doing the job, you gotta have good communication skills, folks. You gotta be able to talk to people and listen to them and understand what they're saying to you, right? So the Chinese proverb says, reverse side is the reverse side. When they're arguing about it, say, okay, explain to me what you're saying. Let's see how this matches with the code and how we meet the minimum code. It's not my code. Is the code. How do we meet this and make this happen? And those are the skills we need. People skills we need. We talked about computers and changing. I still got my drafting table at home also with the pencil. When I went back to school and I was inspector, So you know what, I don't really know how to read plans. So I took a mechanical drawing class. Went in there and learned how to draw plans. Really taught me how to read plans and understand them. Now it's all on computer. When I became an inspector, we had 6 secretaries typing for us. No one types for each other anymore, right? And so that's my career path. There you go.
Awesome, thank you. And lastly,
Mine's a lot simpler. 4th generation carpenter. I think it was just in my blood.
that it is.
There you
that
go.
It is. So I want to ask a quick question. And what does the current demand look like for building inspectors and related roles in your organization or in the region?
Right now, it's probably the best time that I've seen in the last 50 years for breaking into this industry. As Alexa well said, that there's just a lack of resources for consultants and cities. And there's 4 positions, just to broaden it out a little bit, bring it back to focus on inspection. There's 4 tiers in a building division. There's the permit technicians that take the work in, and you have to become very well-versed in the state statutes and laws on how to process and the reasons why you do things the way you do. And then there's the inspection position. And if you just want to do inspection, jump right in with inspection. But if you've got goals of becoming a building official where you want to run the division, then starting in the permit tech role, you learn a lot that you'll never learn as an inspector. And then there's the plan check engineers. The choice, do you need college or do you not? If you're going to go into the plan check engineering area, engineering or architecture are good degrees to go into. And then you can move up and have more versatility in the plan review arena. And then there's the building official role, which is really an administrative position, but you need to have the skills and familiarity with plan check inspections and the permit tech counter. So that's just a quick flyover, but we focus more in our company on hiring plan check engineers. And once in a while, when there's an available person, I'll either direct them to the job that I hear is open, or there have been a couple cases where we've placed the inspectors as well when it's for an existing client. But there aren't people out there to do the job. So you're picking a good time.
Great, that's a very nice response, very broad. I'm going to get a little specific on one here. I'll make this to Gregory. What technical and soft skills, because you kind of alluded to that, are most critical for success in this field today?
So the biggest, I'll call it a soft skill, is the communication, be able to talk to people. Kind of putting yourself in their shoes when you're sitting on the other side out there. I work on this job out here, we got 600 people out there. I talk to each and every one of us I go by, and I respect them all. And thus you get respect in return. So that soft skill of working with people and being respectful, highly important. I mean, I talk from anybody to the top out there, right? Players from the team, I see them, talk to them, say hi and everything, tell them what we're doing. These are technical skills, that was the other one. And so understanding what you're looking at, right? If you don't understand it, stop. Say, okay, explain this to me. Let me research this for you. I can reach out in my company, I can go right to the billing official right away and get an answer, even though he's not on site. We're a unique company that way. I can go right to the plan checker, right to the billing official. Where in the city, you have to wait for that day. I can call them at 7 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the evening, on Saturday, doesn't matter. So those are good skills there. If you don't know it, don't fake it, because they'll bust you. I have a morning staff meeting with 40 foremen, right? All the trades are in there. And you sit in that meeting, and if you blow smoke, you're done. So be truthful. That's it.
Awesome, great response. Eric, with your background, I'd like to ask you this question. What is the right balance between formal education and hands-on experience? And how can students best prepare while still in school?
Yeah, so I've got a few years in community college, and like this gentleman here, it just wasn't for me. The balance there, right? When he talks about hard knocks, that is skills that you learn in the field on a daily basis that you glean from. There's hundreds of men working out there that have done hundreds of different types of jobs, worked with thousands of different materials in different situations. Most buildings are a one-off. You're only gonna build one of these. It creates all kinds of unique situations on every project. So when you spend a lot of time and have a long career in the construction industry, you're constantly learning. There's constant new products. When I first started in this business, there was like 3 types of drywall. Now I think at last count, there's 40. So just the simplest of things is constantly evolving. So there's always this, you gotta be learning. And if you get the opinion or I've reached the plateau, I can't learn anymore, well, you're not gonna keep moving in the construction industry. It's constantly changing. And you gotta be ready to pivot. Because with the construction industry, you think you've got a great plan on how to get something built, and that might not be the best way to get it built. You might have an apprentice go, hey, what if we did this? And you go, how come I didn't think of that? And he solved a problem that you just didn't see it. So that's kind of the fun part, is being open to change. And there isn't gonna be one day on the job that's gonna be like it was yesterday. It's very rare that way.
Great, thank you. This question goes out to 2 individuals, to Kent and to Blake. Which certifications or licenses should students prioritize, and how do these credentials impact hiring decisions? Kent?
One of the most important credentials we're looking for are certifications from ICC, International Code Council. It's a company that published the code books, which is all our codes based on. We're looking for basic code compliance for residentials. That's the first one you should be looking on, focusing on, and reading on. And that's critical, but not the most important. Our most important is personality, like someone Penn was talking about, communications, willing to learn. And can you learn from that book, apply it to the field? So we do hire staff without certification, but we require them to get a certification within the first 6 months, and then get that certification, keep going, keep learning, keep growing. That's the most important one we're looking for. Residential inspection cert, that's your entry gate opening certifications.
Soft skills, being able to speak to people, communicate. I have been called a dam architect a few times, and I've never designed a dam. But when I first joined the AIA back in 1985, boy, those were snooty old white architect guys who couldn't talk to anyone, and they weren't much fun, and I stopped going to the meetings. I've seen a transformation now that architects now are much more construction oriented. I tell my students, if you want to be a paper architect, go to SciArc. Nothing you design will ever get built, but have your fun at it. So I'm very much hands-on, practical. An architecture degree is a great thing. We have a shortage of architects in this state, as well as building inspectors, but that is a stepping stone into so many different areas in the construction industry, including being a contractor, being a building inspector, building official, on and on and on. So licensing in California, super important. Sometimes it's just to get that individual to believe in themselves, that they can actually do something beyond just becoming an employee. They can actually get certified, licensed, and move forward. Shameless plug, we have 3 new classes coming. One is green building codes, which sets my hair on fire, and I'm a lead AP, but I read that code and it's like, who wrote this? This is almost unintelligible, but very good reason for it. We have a CASP certification class coming, that's ADA disabled access, and we have a new class in scheduling and estimating. And I can't estimate anymore because everything's $1,000 a square foot, just a kitchen remodel or a closet addition. I'm amazed at prices, but we have those courses coming. So education, licensing, definitely for architects, physically building things so they have that respect for the construction industry.
Great, thank you. I'd like to pose this next question over to Gregory and Eric. What advice would you give to someone trying to get their first job in the field? And what makes a candidate stand out to you?
Why don't you go first, sir?
an eagerness to work, right? When I first broke in, and you gotta realize that there's a lot of guys my age still within the industry. When I first broke in, by today's standards, we were hazed every day, all day long, day in and day out. That's just the way the trade was. It's not that way anymore, by any means. But the eagerness to learn is what we're looking for. The eagerness to, how do I do this better? Am I doing this right? Asking questions. It got brought up earlier, honesty and integrity. It's not running around out there anymore. It used to be something that was everywhere, and it's not anymore. And when it does pop up, I can see it from 1,000 feet. So be honest and have integrity, and you will be amazed the trajectory of your career will it'll shine a bright light all around you. So that's would be my most encouraging thing to tell you.
Yeah, you know, he's hitting right on it, folks. This is in any career you're looking at.
Yeah.
Honesty, integrity. Be on time. Do what you say you're gonna do. Keep your word. It's important. Oh, I know I'm supposed to be here at 7. It's only 7:05. It's no big deal. Well, guess what? I'm 47 years in the career. I'm still there 15 minutes early. When I was in the fire service, if you weren't 15 minutes early, you were 15 minutes late. Okay? We've all been through this. Tell you, the best work training I ever got was when I worked at Shakey's Pizza Restaurant. You guys know Shakey's Pizza Restaurant? You like the mojos of chicken, huh? I still do. Let me tell you how they taught people how to work there. All right, show up at 5, Greg. All right, how am I going to work? Well, you're guaranteed 2 hours work. Okay. And you know you got more hours of working by working hard and getting things done. If you weren't working hard and getting things done, 2 hours, go home, bye. Right? We never fired an employee. You know what we did? Hey, you're going to work Friday night. Show up at 9. Give you your 2 hours. It was the best training you ever got. It was, hey, man, do it. Right? So if you want to do it, you want to prove yourself, do it. You young folks, some of your folks, I still study a half an hour a night in the trade that I'm in. Okay? You can go to ICC. They got training programs there. There's other training programs, test prep training, right? We share this with all of our inspectors in our company. Your classes here are outstanding. I remember how I started going back to school. Man's name was Fulmer Chapman. He was a public works director from Beverly Hills. And he helped start the Public Works Building Official Supervisors Association, right? And he came out and gave some seminars. He came out to Glendale and I did the one on cement and concrete, part of cement concrete. We did it, it was 7 days. We did it once a week. We met at a little building over there in Glendale. Then I went to another one. And our Public Works director was big on everybody going to college. Hey, you're not going to advance, you didn't go to college, right? And I started there. I drove all the way out to Brea back then. God, folks, this was back in 91? No, prior to that, I was in the 80s, right? I was driving all the way out there with a little Volkswagen van. It was no short trip. But committed to doing it and getting it done, right? And so I started with that, and then I started going to Citrus College at night, a class here, a class there, right? Kids at home, everything else, you get it done. You commit to yourself. Pay yourself first, right? So instead of being on Instagram, I got on one of my guys the other day about this. Hey, where you at getting that one cert? Well, you know, wait a minute. We've been talking about this for 6 months. You got social media? Yeah. What do you got? Facebook, Instagram. How much time's another? More than I should. Cancel those darn things. Give yourself that 30 minutes. Hell, I get Instagram. I know I'll sit down and I start flipping through it and it's all trash anyways, but next thing you know, the 30 minutes is gone, right? Put that 30 minutes into yourself, right? Do that. There you go.
Awesome. I like that. This one is for David. Okay, David. What pre-apprenticeship, internship, or entry-level pathways exist? And what should students be doing right now to position themselves for these opportunities?
Great question. Before I answer that question, I want to acknowledge some of the people that I see in this crowd. Some of you can teach what we are preaching here by just knowing your faces and knowing you in industry. We're orienting our presentation mostly towards student types, but I want to acknowledge people that I see in this crowd, building officials, directors, architects, engineers that I can see sitting in this crowd between this group. It's a very mixed group. We all learn differently, but I see, for instance, representative from ICC here. Network through those channels. Local chapter of ICC, LA Basin chapter of ICC, these are all methods that you can come into this industry. Even though we think there's a lot of jobs out there, and even though we are all engaged ourselves somehow, it's still tough to break into this industry. I'm talking about from standpoint of students. So having credentials, having or not having the knowledge of new ways of doing your work will put you in front of the deadwood or older crowd. Sorry if I'm referring to that term. I want to make sure that you understand that, let's say you do not know California Building Code 2020 version or 2016. Let's say you don't have the background. But the way codes are written, if you pick up on 2025 and learn it from today, you're not behind the curve. Some of us here come back with 50 years of experience, and it's easy for us to get jobs these days. They know our names, we've been involved with the industry. But for the student who's coming to break into this market, which I see some of you in this crowd, number one, get involved with the local chapter of ICC, International Code Council. That's the group that we just talked about. They write the books. They show you the doorway, gateways to come into this industry. There's a once-a-month meeting in Orange County, a luncheon, 2-hour meeting. Associate with them, go to them, and you can talk more because you are the president of that group. So I'm going to leave it here for him to talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the current ICC Orange Empire chapter president this year. So we have meetings every month with mostly building officials, building inspectors. But it's a great way for you to learn, to get to know the people, to socialize. Because like David said, I'm seeing quite a few of our colleagues here. Garden Grove, Dana Point, and Laguna Beach here, because we all get together once a month, talk about what's going on in our industry, and it's consensus, yeah, we need people. We need new blood coming in. We need people who's passionate. To answer your question, what's the gateway in getting here? It's not the certs, it's not the paperwork, it's not the education, it's the passion, and it's communication. You wanna come in with the passion for construction? I got a job for you, come talk to me, okay? We'll lead you to the ICC chapter meetings, we'll get you the trainings, we'll get you the books, we'll teach you, but first thing, you got to be passionate about construction. Why am I so passionate about construction? When I first started, my passion is I see nothing to a building right there in 2 years. And I can point to my kids as, Dad built that. That's going to be there for 50 years, 100 years. I was involved in that. I was making sure that building is safe, okay? I tell my inspectors, if you do your job right, fire department doesn't have to show up and the homeowner can walk out safe. You screw it up, fire department coming up. We are the unsung hero, I keep telling them. You do your job right, fire is contained. There's no fire, okay? In an earthquake, for house doesn't fall down, people walk away. That's our job. That's why I'm so passionate about this, okay? Building safety, fire. Get involved, come talk to the building official, come to the local building departments, talk to them how to get involved, how to get more training, how do we get involved in this industry. We're all here more than willing to help you.
Awesome. Great response. Blake, how are colleges adapting programs to align with industry needs? What programs or partnerships are available for students right now?
So much going on out there. So right now, my students who should all be here today are cranking on their AIA student competition drawings, which are due next Wednesday for their third critique. I tried to drag them out of the classroom and they were holding onto their drafting boards, would not move. But at this college, we've got, of course, the architecture program, we've got the construction inspection programs, we've got drafting technology, we get into SolidWorks and CNC machines, all that kind of stuff within our department. And I really like to have the students go beyond the code. So for example, 5/8 type X is one of my mantras. Why are we doing half-inch drywall that burns through anymore? The other benefit of that is it actually gives the building more thermal mass, which helps it to perform better and use less energy. And that day when we have the big earthquake and there's a broken gas line on every block and there's only 8 firemen in the city, if the houses are built to not burn, we're going to slow down the disaster that comes out of that. So all of those kind of things give our students lots of opportunity. This summer, for example, we have a lead and sustainable architecture class. So we're getting them into the whole concept of being a lead AP, accredited professional, telling them that that is yet another way to elevate their career. The drafting technologies, the softwares they all have to learn now are getting thicker and thicker and thicker. I was board drafting guy. The worst board drafting I ever did was with a rapidograph ink pen on polyester vellum when I worked on Mocha in downtown LA. And if you made a mistake, you know how you erased ink on polyester with a razor blade? And then you had to rough it up with an emery board to draw again. So we're talking really old technology. But kind of all of these areas that give the students a chance to discover what they want to do. We have architecture students taking the building code classes, and vice versa. So the more training they can get, they determine their own pathway. And on top of that, trying to get them to be passionate about what they're doing. Construction is a passionate industry about seeing something created with your own hands and your own thoughts. And then work ethic. So work ethic is a really tricky topic these days. They all want to become influencers and Bitcoin billionaires. And after they realize that might not work, they get into something more real. And that, to me, is the construction industry.
Great, thank you. The last final question is a lightning round. Okay, just quick little answer, quick response. What is the one piece of advice you would give students considering a career pathway in construction and building inspection? One piece of advice. Scott?
I would just say that you can't go wrong with it. It's an enjoyable career and it's infectious. If you've got curiosity and you start looking at building construction, it's like a puzzle. And you keep learning and you'll keep additional certifications coming. And it's a long-term growing career that makes you more and more valuable in the industry. So it's just a fun job all the way through. Out of all the jobs I've worked in building safety, inspection was the most fun and made it the easiest to get up in the morning and go to work.
Be passionate. And like you were saying here, it's a job you always learning, keep learning every day, not one day is the same as the other. Every day changes, code changes, building changes, people changes. You are learning, you're constantly rolling, and it's very, very satisfying. Okay, you're out there, you help people. You understand, like I said a minute ago, you do your job right, you keep people safe, you keep the homeowners safe. And it's very, very fulfilling that way. Be passionate and get started. You know, don't sit there, don't go to talk, get started. Talk to the building departments, come talk to any of us, get to your local building department, get started.
Any good carpenter uses a good tools. If you're gonna stay in this business of construction, architecture, building codes, inspection, your new tools, Revit, AI, put it to your right use. In next 10 years, the world is gonna completely change. Has already changed for some industries. For us, it's lagging a little bit. But no attorney nowadays practices without AI. No architect nowadays practices, no industrious, let's say it. The architectural firm and engineering firms that can produce 10 renderings in one day, the one that stay competitive. Good old ways, things have changed. You may be the best draftsman, the best rendering person, but learn this new tool that has come about, put it to the right use, school yourself in that, you will be ahead.
So I'm going to go in the other direction. I tell my students, get a summer job in construction. Pour some concrete, frame some walls, hang a lot of drywall, pound some shingles on the roof. Learn how it actually goes together, because you're going to discover that maybe what you designed cannot be built. And you better figure that out really early on rather than in the middle of a construction project. So hands-on experience. I'm one of those architects who's actually built 4 houses. So a little bit of stucco work and all that good stuff. I love it. But I tell them, get a summer construction job so you really know the industry.
So I would tell you this, a good lumberjack keeps his axe sharp. Keep sharpening your tool. Stay relevant, no matter what you're going to do, right? Yes, do everything these guys here are saying also. It's like I'm telling you, I'm 67, I'm still studying at night myself. He talked about CASP class, I'm gonna go talk to him about it afterwards because I'm studying to be a CASP myself right now. That's a hard test to take. Probably one of the hardest tests you're ever gonna take. Stay relevant, sharpen that tool every day, okay? You won't regret it. Invest in yourself.
I like that one. I would picture in your mind, you know, that comfortable space. I don't know, it's a Saturday morning. It's nice and cozy in bed. Really even haven't even got out of bed yet, right? Maybe there's a fire burning. You know, you're up in a cabin. All of those places that you probably feel some of the most comfortable places in your life, they are created by construction workers. Whether that's the guy writing code, the guy designing the building, the guy making sure everything's built properly and put together. That is the construction industry. We create those times when it's pouring rain and you're kicking back watching your favorite TV show and you're not getting wet, right? So remember what construction's all about, right? It provides those things to all of us.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, panelists, for your insightful responses, and to our audience. So I want to open it up now for a Q&A session. Okay, I want interview students in particular to ask the panelists questions. Anything you want to know that you didn't hear already? Advice. Do you have a job opening? I want a job. If you want that, say it right now. You know, bring your resume. This is the day to start your career. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to call on you first.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you guys. I've been taking notes on everything you guys have said. Oh, sure. My name is Jacob Mosbergen. I'm actually graduating this semester from Fullerton College with my associate's degrees in construction inspection, management technology, and a certificate in estimating skills. So I've learned a lot so far today from you guys. I'm grateful for Israel putting it together as well. One of the questions that I did have, well, I did bring my resumes too to speak with each one of you, was about the building codes. I wanted to know, in what situations do you find a code that is not in the code book and you have to bring it to the table and say, hey, we need to discuss this? Because obviously, you know, we're looking for the minimum standards, but as codes continue to change and like we said, you know, buildings evolve, and how do you guys figure we need to put this into the code, or we need to change this code?
Well, the code's a minimum. So if you, it's the baseline that we can all compete and have a reference for insurance policies and everything on a given building. So if it's not in the code, we can't enforce it. The minimums, the maximum is a real common saying in our industry. So there's 2 ways as an inspector that you can write a correction, and that's in state statutes. is if it doesn't match the plans, if the detail's not like it and you think it might be a structural defect, you can make them go back to get that changed. Or if you know of a missing feature, say it's not on the plans that you have a handrail, but you know you need a handrail, you have the right as an inspector to cite that because you know a code section that applies. So those are the only two ways you can enforce the code. You can't say, well, my daddy and my granddaddy taught me to always use blocking around the perimeter of a lid on a ceiling when you're drywalling. It's not in the code. You can't enforce that, and the laws, it's about a 35-year-old law that was written by a legislator that you can't write corrections for things like that. And to tag on to that same section, something I just wanted to share, because if anybody's taking notes, write this code section down. It answers some of your questions. There's a health and safety code. You can just Google California Health and Safety Code, section 18949.25, and it runs through 0.31. And that tells you all about certifications, what's required to be when you need a certification to work in a city job. You have 12 months after you get hired to get certified to this level of the city's needs. And there's continuing education. Every 3 years, 45 hours. So 15 hours a year. And it tells you all about that in just 2 pages of text. So tagged it on to the answer. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Good question.
You know, I'd like to speak on that question for a second. I think your question is how do we develop code and make code? Is that what you're asking? And so you got some great people here. Right? This young man right here, he's the chairman of the ICC chapter out here. I've been in many groups myself, State Fire Marshal's group. These different work groups come together, and they actually talk about putting things together. My ex-fire marshal was a fellow named Stuart Tom. He went on to be very prominent in ICC, right? And so how do codes get made? We're out there, a lot of them get made from blood, right? I can tell you, panic door hardware came from the Iroquois Theater fire, 1903. Look it up. The door hardware they had on there was like serpentine hardware you have on the back of a big rig. People couldn't open the door to get out, so they had to figure out how to make that. The guy who owned the hardware store across the street was giving them blankets and lanterns to go in and retrieve the bodies. He got so moved about, he helped to develop panic door hardware, single action motion to get out. So they're built through blood. All right, almost all of our codes are. Green codes are a little different, not through blood, but a lot of these things happen through that. And health, okay? So when you're in the industry, there's many industry committees and groups. ICC is a great one to start with. State Fire Marshal Group is another one, right? And we see things, and that's how we develop codes and such. And that's how it happens. And it gets proposed, gets voted upon, and there's industry people in it, there's private sector people, and there's construction. All the government groups are in it, and they get to vote on it and see if this is going to be in code or not. And that's how it happened. By a city, there's 3 ways to modify the code, right? It's, I want to see, it's geographical, weather. There's three different ways. I don't remember them all. And
Geographical, topographical, and climatical.
climatical, see? And so you have the California code, right? But say in your area, right, that code doesn't work for that because you're high fire hazard area above this. That's one example, right? And so there you go. That's how it happens.
Awesome. Thank you. Other students, questions? Young man?
I had a question more for you because I heard that you were a general contractor and that's what I'm interested in doing. And so basically my plan was to go to college and do stuff like that, but I kind of got lost. I was going to Cal Ocean. I was doing a class for Cal Ocean. I completed it, but I was like confused. I was stuck in there, and I wasn't really like able to like learn much for the general contractor thing. But I'm more of like trying to like look at different places like this building inspector and stuff. Like I'm just trying to like open myself more of so I can learn more of general contracting. And well, basically what I want to ask you, like, do you know like what steps it's possible like to become a general contractor? Because like I'm like thinking of joining the union, like just to get experience, because that's what I've seen, that you have to have at least 4 years of experience and be 21. I think that's what it is. But I'm just trying to like open myself and see more opportunities while I'm on my journey. So
Okay, constructions are slightly, you want to be a contractor, it's a slightly different organization look over it. It's a CSLB, Contractors State Licensing Board. They issue B license, C license, different type of licenses. You need experience to get those licenses and kind of take a test and then get your certificate as contractors. So you want to look at CSLB on their requirements, how to become a contractor. But before that, you do need to work as a contractor to get experience. And your boss have to sign off for you to take those tests. Okay? So contractor is more hands-on.
As a follow-up to what was just said, your credential, your degrees at the college will consider towards your contracting licensing period. If you do not have education, they ask you 4 or 5 years of work experience before they allow you to take that contractor exam. But if you have a degree from the college, some of those years are considered towards your contractor licensing. So attending college degrees can help you to get there.
Correct.
okay, do you know like what type of degrees would like count towards it?
As far as I recall, when I had my contractor license 20 years ago, I used my credentials. I had my degrees in engineering and architecture, and I worked as a contractor for a year or two, and then that qualified me to take the exam and pass the exams.
I believe, yeah, like what Dave was saying, your education counts, I think it's 2 years out of 4. And then you just require 2 years field experience. But again, check with the CSLB website.
The what is it?
CSLB, Contract Licensing Board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, California State Licensing Board.
CSLB is it's the state of California.
Yeah.
Contractor State Licensing Board.
Contract
They're in
State.
Sacramento. It's a 916 number if you Google it. And they're actually really helpful. They have enforcement arms that regulate bad contractors or people that aren't contractors that are doing construction. And so if you get my card before you leave, I can give you the phone number of somebody there that will be good to answer your questions.
That'd be perfect. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Great, thank you. I want to open up a question from industry personnel. Go ahead.
Not really a question, but just more for the, okay, do I need this? I'm Angela Israel, hi, with Cordoba, and just for the students in the room, I'm in construction management. I'm a project manager, and we rely heavily on these wonderful inspectors, right? And our team, and my colleague over there, Steve Lionakis, he's also construction manager, formerly architect, principal at Lionakis. And we have a team of 12 people here at this campus and IVC managing major projects and minor projects. So if you're interested in careers in project management, let me know. And we are always looking for good inspectors because our best inspectors are retiring. And so we need good inspectors. So inspectors in the room would love to get your contact too. And then contractors. So we, as a project manager and construction manager, we're like the glue, right? So I just want to let you know I'm available to you. I'll be in the back of the room and out here. And again, our company name is Cordoba Corporation, and we're all over California. And here we're doing, the math and science building over here. We just finished this quad and a number of projects. So I'm here for you.
Thank you. We'll have an opportunity during the networking after this to mingle and ask questions and kind of network a little bit more. Another question, go ahead. And then we'll call it gentleman in the back.
According to what you mentioned before, that there's lots of things that you guys mentioned besides the limitation on the codes, that sometimes you have to go through some processes. There's thousands of materials that Eric mentioned that you guys now are working with. Nowadays, it's totally different. So in my case, my name, by the way, is Karina Heller. I'm a Mexican graduate from International Commerce and Business Engineer in Mexico. I'm here in Saddleback because I'm redoing my life now again after I'm 45 years old. Back in the days when I was in my 20s, I had the opportunity to work in a construction company for like 4 or 5 years. I started, just like you all said, when you're in high school and you start with anything. I started doing the management for the maintenance. But later on, I started working with the engineers and architects, and I got a little bit of experience of what you guys do. I never had the chance to study as an architect or engineer because I couldn't afford it. I was a single mother. But through the years or through the experience and engaging with people and engineers and stuff, I learned a lot of things. So my question was, according to these limitations and the industry and everything that now is, it's totally different than before. How do you guys go about, like, for example, what we mentioned, that the protection is very important for all of us? There's a lot of materials that are existing to build a building or house, whatever. What do you think about using only wood for construction or to construct a home? Like, how do you guys go about to either renew or suggest a new code so that that won't be damaging our safety? I don't know how to say it. Sometimes my English is not that perfect. Not right. But that was one of my questions. And the other one, because I'm not exactly an engineer on construction or anything that has to do with buildings, but I am I'm engineer in business. I also used to work with softwares and stuff. But how would I be able to start my career with you guys, like having this background? Those are my two questions.
I'll take this one. I relate to what you're saying because I came from another country here. Coming from a metric system to a SI system, for instance. You got to get yourself to a level that if you want to land a job here, to understand the system of the measurements and those things here as an architect. For instance, a meter is completely different than understanding feet, 3 feet. So first you got to get yourself to that level if you're trying to get a job in US. Assuming you are there, because that makes a difference. You're used to a different scale, we use a different scale here. But let's say as an architect, you can visualize the spaces and you have that background. You realize that the construction field is the largest industry in the world. Drafting, engineering, architecture, construction management, estimating, real estate, you name it. There's a reason they call construction the biggest industry in the world. There's so many branches. Testing, material testing, inspection, plan check, building official, permit takes, admin, planning, zoning, fire. You can apply yourself to any of these disciplines. So your training, back to what we are saying here, is a very base, strong platform that you can build your career upon. But it's upon you to figure out with your background where you are more assertive or where you have the most knowledge. If you have a fire background from Mexico, for instance, that puts you ahead of a lot of people. If you have underwriting skill from Mexico in an area of business, real estate, or construction, that will put you in your title companies. You know better than anybody what your forte is. But I just want to make sure that you realize you're riding a platform that is the widest or largest job market in the world.
Wow, that's great. The gentleman in the back, you had a question
I would like to
back
add to
there.
that very quickly. We are moving more and more into wood construction because it's renewable. And if you look at the carbon put into the atmosphere to make concrete, it's horrendous. Net carbon zero buildings are very much part of our future to undo the damage we've done since the Industrial Revolution. So I would love to talk to you about wood after this is over, because I have a long lecture on that.
I just add to one more thing to this conversation.
Go ahead.
If you take a building code class, you realize why they do wood construction, and you learn the difference between different boxes. It's hard. When I refer to the box, a building is a box. It could be a wood box, steel, concrete, all the way. But you have to put the concept of box and what you put in the box first. Occupancy classification and construction type. Then it starts coming to you. Why architects in US practice that way?
For example, that job that I had back in the days, we had a project where it had to be done for like, I don't know how long it was, but I was there for like about 4 or 5 years. We had to build 10,000 houses, 10,000. And the material that we used, well, it wasn't me that I used it, I made it. But, we're putting the shirt on. It was a concrete, but it was like a specific one that was also not, it was kind of like a sustainable material.
Yeah.
We even had visitors coming from Chicago and everywhere around the world because of the type of project that we had. The houses were, besides they were easy to build because they use these frames and stuff. The material was very, I don't know how to call it, eco-friendly or something like that. So.
On that topic, I am just finishing teaching concrete this semester. The exams are next week. There are 5 or 6 different concrete systems that could be used in different countries of the world, and they are not permitted or allowed here. SAP, insulated concrete panel. There are several different systems that are not ICC approved here for California yet. We do that under very special scrutiny. So yeah, by taking course, for instance, if your interest is concrete because you come from Mexico, they may be doing a lot more concrete there for smaller projects than here. But there's a logic to that madness in this country here.
Let me quickly add on to that. So a lot of materials, different countries have used different materials. One is availability, two, costs, and then local requirements. I mean, when you talk about constructions nowadays, we're using a lot of wood, but they're exploring printable concrete in Texas. So they're moving materials because of what's required, what can be done, what's the cost, what's the speed, what's the time, all that into consideration before they pick the material. And that's all about getting the project complete with the budget, with the local requirements. Okay?
Great, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Dent. I am the building official of City of Garden Grove. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of the panelists up there. I was the past president of ICC a little while ago. Just coming from a more jurisdictional standpoint, for those of you that are looking for jobs and want to enter into the workforce, a lot of things that we look at from a city's perspective is we actually do use a lot of the consultants as a backfill for some of our positions. The way cities work is you have a standard, I say, number of staff that you have, and that's budgeted for every year. Then there's a fluctuation of construction, a bigger project coming to the city where we actually will reach out to some of the consultant companies, contract with them, and then they'll backfill our inspection positions, some of our plan check positions. So those are some of the things that, again, we work in correlation with some of those companies. So as far as an entryway of getting into the industry and actually getting into an actual jurisdiction, a lot of our pools are pulled from their companies. And again, they do the grooming, they do the training, they do all the stuff that as a city we really don't have the budget for initially. So then again, they work with us. I have a couple consultants that are working for us, and they've been with us for about 6 months. So they kind of just wait in the wing for when the position actually does open up in the city. Typically, those are the first ones that apply for those positions and usually get them. Another industry that hasn't been mentioned today is code enforcement. That's another branch of the building department and the building industry. It's on the back end. So when people don't do things correct, code enforcement typically gets involved for things that aren't permitted or businesses that do things unlicensed. Currently, Garden Grove does have a volunteer program for code enforcement. All you need to know is you got to breathe and be happy, and you can you can apply for the code enforcement thing. It's a free position that we have actually had about 4 of the volunteer program graduates from our program are actually currently working in our city. So again, you can broaden that a little bit further than just building alone, but the code enforcement is also a avenue of that. And again, myself, I'm David. I've gone through the whole realms of growing up and being an architect, a licensed architect. It is a very difficult position to get into. That's how I got into the industry. Did construction as well. I'm currently deputy director for City of Garden Grove, so I've come from the ranks of being a building inspector and plan check engineer and then building official, and now I'm the deputy director for City of Garden Grove. but it's a very, very, very just satisfying career path. I mean, I've been in it for almost 20 years. I'm a little younger than the guys up there, but it goes to show you that just effort and due diligence will get you a lot further. And again, just enjoying what you do. So again, look out to Garden Grove. We are going to be hiring for a permit tech position. So as Scott mentioned, it is a very good way to enter into the building industry. That position will be opening up in about a couple weeks or so. So for those of you that are interested in just getting into a building department or a jurisdiction, that position is opening. And again, I'm also doing a panel for it's Building and Safety Month. For those of you that didn't know, a lot of where we're doing sessions and trainings are happening this month that typically don't happen. And that'll be next week. We're doing that in Garden Grove. It's going to be the same panelist. It's going to be in Garden Grove next Tuesday, offering lunch and everything else. Again, there'll be a bunch of panelists and a bunch of networking going on. For those of you that are still interested in some of the students that want to come out there, there's an opportunity to, again, speak and talk to the professionals and just keep yourself ingrained in the industry. Because, again, the more you're in it, the more people will see your face. It's a very small community. I mean, these guys I've known for the last 15, 20 years being up here and being up north. And again, I also see a lot of familiar faces out in the crowd. So again, keep your heads up and keep the work going and be happy. And it's the one industry that, again, we're focusing on next week is that AI cannot do away with this industry. It could do it with a portion of it. Don't get me wrong. It can make the world and things a little lot easier, but a robot or a computer can't look into a trench and check a pipe or check some electric. So again, we're here and we'll be here for a while. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one more quick question. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Siavash. I'm an OCC student. Just want to become a general contractor. As you guys know, I need to have experience. So I decided to study in OCC College since I'm still looking for a part-time job as an inspector because this semester we just built a class for plumbing classes. And I enjoy framing, and then I would like to find a job that will basically give me more, experience than will be basically inspector. I love to have work as an inspector framing, and then I do have an inspector job as an inspector with medical part, but I have experience on the inspector area. So I'm here for a job as a full-time or part-time student.
You're here at the right place.
Thank you so much.
You will have a chance to network and meet some of these folks, energy personnel, and hopefully you brought a resume.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much.
Good, awesome. All right, so I'm going to wrap things up and we're going to start the networking outside, but I want to just cover a few things. For those of you who don't know, we actually have a building inspector apprenticeship program that we developed that we combine all our code courses that Blake put together. So if there's materials outside on the table to pick up some information on that. For you employers, we have a wonderful program, an internship program, where we can reimburse employers who hire our students. We can reimburse you 50% of the wages paid to our students. There's flyers out there on the table to pick that up. Hire our students, and we'll work with you and reimburse you up to 50% of the wages. We're doing that with the City of Tustin, so that's working out. Also, we deliver customized training. There's a flyer out there. We deliver training on-site or online or even here. We have state funds that help subsidize the cost of the training, so that's another opportunity there. And yeah, and then so there's materials out there for you to pick up to learn some of the other ways we can support industry. And we're going to conclude with one video, and then we'll go outside and start our networking event and lunch. My name is Israel Dominguez. I'm the Director of Economic and Workforce Development here at Saddleback College. I view our partnership with the City of Tustin as both essential and strategic. We are focusing on workforce development. We'll be able to build a talent pipeline for local businesses and industry sectors, and particularly in automotive technology and hospitality. We're here to support all businesses by providing training to the workforce, career opportunities for local residents, and collaborate and help the overall economic prosperity of the City of Tustin.
Hi, my name is Valentin Flores. I'm the Deputy Director of Economic Development for the City of Tustin. The City of Tustin views the partnership with Saddleback as key and strategic. As economic developers, we can't set out to improve our local economy if we don't have strong partnerships all the way from our school district, our community colleges, and even four-year colleges. What I've noticed about Saddleback is that they have the programs that I felt that the city needed in order to really elevate our small business community.
This signature event at the City of Tustin, the Chili Cook-Off, is a fabulous opportunity for our students, for them to get real-world experience in a very exciting environment that gets them involved with the community and help build their civic pride.
We're very happy to have Saddleback join us this year. It's our marquee event. Tens of thousands of people come within a very close proximity of Tustin to join this event. What I saw is a culinary arts program that should be highlighted, and why not have them make some chili, right? So I think it's gonna be the perfect storm. I hope the students enjoy it, and I know that the community is gonna enjoy it. A lot of other cities, municipalities are struggling to really recruit building inspectors in that field. And what I loved about Saddleback is that we made that need known, and Saddleback and their economic development workforce program jumped all over it. They started creating an event, so we're very happy to be partnering with Saddleback to really bring to attention the fact that there is a void and a need.
We work closely with industry. We have program advisory committees that they provide input on our educational programs, certainly in construction, architecture, building inspection, among many other fields.
It's all about creating a pipeline, all the way from the high school level to the community college level and four-year level.
The Saddleback College Economic and Workforce Development Initiative provides customized training to local businesses and industries across many different fields, from business and management skills to computer skills, manufacturing skills, among others. We help close the skills gap, help companies become more efficient, more productive, and more globally competitive. And we partner with a number of industries in the area, and we're here to help the businesses and industries in the City of Tustin.
The message that I would send to the business community is that you have an institution that wants to be in the community, is rich in resources, and is rich in human capital, and they're looking to connect the dots. They're willing to come out and meet you where you're at. I hear every single day small businesses that are struggling to hire, that are struggling for skilled labor, and this is a huge resource that I think not only Orange County, but all of Southern California should be participating more with.
All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this summit, and that you all learned something and you work with us. We're here to help your workforce needs, and students who are here, you have a golden opportunity to network and find yourself a job while you're working at school. The advice I give to all students is get a job, an internship or part-time job, whatever, while you're in school in the area of study. That'll help you be more marketable. It'll help confirm that this is what you want to do, or like, no, this is not what I want to do, But this is the time you have to really do some career exploration. So thank you. We're going to go outside, do some networking. Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists.